Mines and Money 2018 in London. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Commodity TV here for you. And we have now Laramide Resources here, a uranium explorer. And Mark Henderson, the CEO, wants to give us an update. Mark, welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Jakob. Good to see you again.
Yeah, great to have you here again. And I think it's approximately a year ago when we spoke the last time. Uranium was really depressed. Now, coming back into the favor, I think it's the best, the best yielding commodity this year. It's up over 40%. So, what happened at Laramide in the last 12 months?
Well, I think the uranium has evolved nicely, pretty much as we sort of discussed before. Some people would say it's going a little maybe slower than people thought, given the supply contraction that's happened. But I think it's certainly directionally, it's very interesting. And in terms of where the rest of the market is, obviously we've had some change in the market for many of the other areas. And I think this is an area that's showing particular strength at the moment.
Absolutely. And honestly, I'm curious when the real utility buyers are coming back in the market for the long-term contracts, because I think then it's getting interesting.
Absolutely. Well, there's an awful lot of cross currents going on in the market, and and in particular what's going on in the United States has had an impact, I think, on particularly the U.S. buyers returning to the market in a way that people expected. And I think you're going to have to see some policy certainty around that issue before you're going to see U.S. buyers coming in a big way. But I certainly think we're knocking on the door of 30 here. Yeah. I think the move from 30 to 40 is going to probably be quicker maybe than people expect.
Yeah, maybe by Christmas already.
Well,
would be a nice gift.
Would be a nice Christmas present. We're moving now more deliberately to be ready for that and to be able to bring production online, obviously in keeping with when the market's going to want it. I mean, as you know, many of the producers in the U.S. are all shut in. I mean, Cameco's shut in Canada, one of their two big mines. Kazatomprom has cut back on supply. So the market's going to have to bring these operations on in some kind of logical sequence as we get better pricing. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, Cameco has to buy, I think in 2019, they said already 15 million pounds they have to buy now in addition. So I think the signs are green light. Definitely for uranium, and that's what your company stands for. So, what 100%. Have you done 2018? Maybe you can elaborate a little bit on the progress.
So our big effort has been to get our Church Rock project, which is a US ISR project, more visible to the market, moving along technically in a way that it will be ready. So, we're sort of targeting, let's say 2020 potentially for construction, with the view that we could get it up and running. We think at a price at $40, it's a project that will probably go. It's a project that, because of the ownership of it in the past, was held in a way that it wasn't maybe as visible or as obvious as some of the previous projects in terms of the 43-101s, the JORC, the economic studies that people expect on this project. But you'll see that in 2019, probably in Q2. You'll get an economic study on it so people will really understand what this project looks like as it rolls out and as it scales up. It starts at, it's a well field, it's a typical ISR. It'll start around 1 million pounds a year and then it'll scale up from there.
Fantastic. What are, let's say, your plans to develop it further now? What do you want to do in 2019?
Well, we need one final permit, a state permit, an injection control permit in the state of New Mexico.
You expect that for next year?
Well, we're working on that permit. We had, as a result of the acquisition, when we acquired the property, we were the royalty holder. It came with an NRC license. We had to go to the U.S. government and have the NRC license transferred to us. So that's, in the U.S., that's effectively the federal permitting. So we have the federal permitting. We have water rights. What we need is this one final state permit in New Mexico. And it's a process that'll probably take a year or so. And so we want to move now more deliberately to do that. It obviously didn't make sense to push towards production when the price signal really wasn't there. I mean,
it makes no sense. Yeah, absolutely.
The last time I saw you, we were at $20, $21. So it's a much different environment.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, ISR is also quite famous, let's say, for more on the lower end of the cost curve, of course. As far as I know, ISR projects in the US, we talk about something like 28-ish, maximum $30 AISC cost per pound, which I think is still visible, right. I would say, yeah. So at $40, you have already a nice margin, of course. It's not the world, but it's okay, yeah. And to make profits and money, that is good. On the other hand, ISR is not the super large capex. What would be the capex? Only a guess. I know it's a forward-looking statement, but can you give our viewers maybe an idea? Do we talk about 500 million or 100 million or 50 million?
No, the capital intensity of these sort of projects is well known. So for a $1 million pound startup wellfield thing in the U.S., these things have been done before. You're in a range of capex of, let's say it's a $25 to $35 million range for the first 1 million pounds. Yeah. And that's typical because of the nature of what you're doing there.
So that's really makeable, I would say.
100%. So it's much easier. So in terms of how you would finance this kind of project ultimately versus, say, financing something in the Athabasca or financing our project in Australia, when you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars of capital, you're clearly not doing that without a broader base of support from the market, a broader base of contract support from the utilities. You could get that kind of capex done without, frankly, you could sell that into the spot market.
Exactly, yeah. No, super. And also, I mean, upfront, when it comes to the production decision, and let's assume you have the permits and everything goes well, I could imagine, because it's US uranium, and we saw the tension with the petition 232, so there has to be a decision made, I think, by the end of March, beginning April next year. It's that 90 days time frame now. So I could imagine, if the position goes the positive way, that US uranium will be, let's call it sponsored or preferred or whatever you want to say that, I could imagine this would help you guys a lot, right?
Yeah, we would think so. And I think we think there's probably a subset of maybe 6 or 8 companies amongst what I call the survivor group in uranium, which is maybe 20 or 25 people that are left that have development projects of consequence. And obviously those projects will get more visibility on them. We're kind of one of the lesser known ones because we're not US listed, for example. And so we think, yes, that'll obviously be a positive. We're not sure what it means. We do know from talking to some of the utilities on the other side, I think the feeling is you're going to get something. The industry has asked for quotas. There's a range of outcomes that are possible. I think the fact that the Trump administration has taken this on as something that they're looking at seriously, I think everyone believes you'll get some kind of an outcome that is American security of supply driven. What that is, who knows? Directionally, it's got to be a positive.
Yeah, definitely. Super. Could you, let's put it that way, I mean, 25 to 30 million, let's say maybe 40 million, whatever, development cost. Do you think you can easily do that then by yourself, or you would partner with somebody, or you would say, okay, we sell forward maybe, or how would you imagine to do that? No,
I mean, I think at that level of capex, honestly, Joachim, you've seen, I mean, we're just coming off the bottom in uranium, and there's been some financings. For example, UEC, I think they raised 20 million quite easily.
Yeah, very easily. In
what
I heard.
And really, everything's shut in, and it's still, a lot of people still think it's a bear market. I think in a better market, tonally, which we're going to get. I mean, if we're at $40 uranium, the psychology of the buy side is
changes
quite
everything.
A bit different. So I know I would expect we could do that quite easily. Obviously, having in a U.S. project, we'd be insane not to have some kind of American utility connection to that, whatever it is, even if it's just that they're doing contracts, because they'll have met their obligation to buy American or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
So I know, I think those kind of things would tend to believe that we can do all this ourselves relatively easily.
Fantastic. Last question: what is cash in the bank? Because we are still in a tough environment. So are you able to fulfill your 2019 requirements?
Yes, we're always out constantly raising money. People ask you, where are you at with money? We're always raising money. We made it through almost what'll be 8 years in March of a bear market. No, from this point in time, we're going to be fine. I can't tell you exactly how we're going to get there or what it's going to be or whether we're going to do some.
For sure, but everything is in good shape.
Or a debt structure. Yes, we think we're in very good shape now going forward.
Perfect.
The tone of the whole market, the shareholder base, the trading volumes in this whole sector. Yeah, it's certainly a much healthier environment than the last time I saw you, and hope it'll be better yet when I see you again. So
I would say times have changed a lot.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, super. Well, then Merry Christmas, all the best, and we look forward. We meet us latest PDAC, I think, for a little update then, and keep fingers crossed for your permit.
Thank you. Same to you and yours. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was Marc Henderson, the CEO of Laramide Resources, and you heard it. Uranium is coming back, has a nice comeback this year. Uranium is up approximately 45% by now. Maybe we see the $30 per pound by Christmas. That would be a lovely present. And as Laramide has a US project that is also, of course, in much higher favor because of the Trump administration going for the petition 232. There will be a decision next year in spring. And if this becomes reality, that would be even a nice push for uranium in the future, for US uranium. And that's exactly what Laramide is in. So $35 to $40 million maximum required for the first million pounds of production. That's an absolutely decent capex, I would say, and they can easily do that, especially when uranium goes above the $40, $45 level. So we keep you posted. Check out the company. Thanks for watching us. Bye-bye from London and Merry Christmas.